good thing.
So would you consider yourself a feminist?
Absolutely.
Can you say that on camera? To me, just say
I consider myself a feminist.
Okay.
Most people would support women and believe that everything should be equal. I live that every day of my life, making sure that I treat everybody the same, but it's tough when I feel like people are constantly posturing to get people to see their side of things. And there's so many different groups now that once you put a name into it, people stop kind of caring. It's kind of like the Black Lives Matter movement. It's like, it's a really good thing, but then there's always like people who are like, yeah, what about me? And it ruins it. So
yeah.
The term feminism itself, I'm not a big
feminist.
I don't like it because I think it has a bad connotation, but what they're trying to do is a really good thing.
Like more and more women are like on the field working versus just being the typical, you know what they say, like stay at home, cook the food. Like I feel like it can be a balance between men and women doing the same thing. You don't have to have a specific role just because you're a woman. Like you shouldn't be limited to doing things because of your gender. Like, they can have the same opportunities. I feel like one will always maximize the opportunity more than the other. And I feel like in that case, a woman would, because she would like want to prove that I can do whatever you can do plus more, versus a man would be like, I can just do whatever. Like I can do this. Like I don't really have to prove that I can do it. You know I can do it.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people feel like women can. So in that sense, she would be like, I'm gonna prove to you that I can, and I'm gonna work harder than you to prove that I can.
About that word, and are you a feminist?
I feel like that word is abused and bastardized all the time, and I think it's a really cool word because it can really mean whatever you want it to mean. I think I'm a feminist because I believe that I believe in empowering other women, and I believe that we're equal to men, and in theory, in my head, but I know that in reality, because of every, the pay gap, all of these other things, we are not equal. But I wish to be. And so it's this thing, I think feminism is this idea that you aspire to be equal. And so I think it's a positive word, and it's a positive idea. And I really believe then sort of like, as I've gotten older, I think I've become more and more of a feminist and more in touch with that inner, I've been reading a lot of Aubrey Lorde, and I've, a lot of that's the power of your inner erotic, and what is that? And that's your sexuality, and that's your ness, that's your female thing. And I feel really tied to that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feminist.
Are you a feminist?
I'd say so, yes. I think what's fun, speaking of vocabulary, I think that's like one word that I love seeing when people are like, they don't want to admit to being feminist because they hear the word feminine, and it's like, I don't want to identify as that. Even women who are like, it's a bad word for them.
Yeah. Why do you think they feel that way with that word?
I think people have, how do I say this effectively? People have used the word in so many different ways that like now there's not just one strict definition for it, which isn't a bad thing, I always say that like there's not enough words in the English language, any language, like there aren't words to describe certain things, emotions, feelings, energy. So the best thing we can do is just to keep going back, as long as like we honor what the word feminist originally meant, was intended for. And
Do people who are afraid to use that word, do you think they've lost touch of
the roots of it? Yeah.
What feminist is?
Because what they say is, I don't agree with it because it's turned into this, but this is how I feel about it now. And I'm like, well, those are the same things at the root, just people take different routes, just trying to regain, or not regain, just gain rights that they never had as someone who identifies as female, and but now it has to be such a broader word. It has more of a spectrum to it especially because of the movement, Me Too, and that's good. Again, that's good. We're strengthening our vocabulary, and adding more like definitions, I guess, to the list, which is awesome.